I'm absolutely thrilled to be sitting here with Dr. Aseem Malhotra again because he's telling me about a fantastic new diet that he's launching, and it's called the Metabolic Reset. Hi, Aseem. So lovely to see you again. Thanks for coming to talk to me.
Likewise, Glynis.
Now, I'm very excited about this, which you've created this online program, and it's called Metabolic Reset. So, can you just tell us a little bit about it? Because I just want to say that for years you have been advocating for a healthy diet, not just about losing weight, but a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle. So it just seems to me perfect that you have now created a program for people to do this.
Yeah, thank you, Glynis. Yeah, so in a way, so I'm doing this in conjunction with a friend and colleague who's a brilliant nutritionist who's been doing something very similar for many years. Her name's Kim Pearson. So we're doing this together. And essentially, the reason we've started this program is that for both of us, we've been managing individual patients and seeing amazing results from this particular diet plan, predominantly diet plan, and we wanted to scale it up essentially so that more people can benefit, and ultimately even really influence maybe the NHS guidelines. Something that ultimately the NHS would adopt, because for me it's about helping as many people as possible, and it's really based upon the principles of how does one optimize metabolic health. So let's just define that. Metabolic health essentially is really the optimum way to live, according to the best evidence, in terms of preventing disease like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and even likely having a significant impact in preventing even the development of cancer. And the principles are really that the root causes of these diseases is based upon insulin resistance and chronic inflammation. Insulin resistance essentially is the body becoming resistant to the hormone insulin over time if it's overstimulated. And I put together, I looked at this particular diet plan I came up with, and published in major medical journals many years ago, having looked at all the research, spending years looking at what is the sort of, with the best evidence that we have, and of course things may change and evolve, what is the optimum diet for health. I came at it specific from a heart disease perspective, but of course, what drives heart disease is also what is driving obesity and all these other conditions. And in essence, it's a low carbohydrate Mediterranean diet. But we wanted to create this program so people understand it, they understand why they're doing it, what the effect of the diet is on their body. They become empowered themselves so they can even help, and educate their family members. So there's educational components too. The recipes, but I think the most important aspect of it, which is so powerful, which is something I've been trying to bang the drum about for many years, is that lifestyle, and in particular diet changes, Glynis, have a rapid effect on these risk factors for disease, as in within weeks. So we did a pilot program already just to test it out, just for 4 weeks. And the results, as expected to some degree, but still also quite extraordinary, is that people are sending their type 2 diabetes into remission, their blood pressure's coming down, they're getting off pills, and they're feeling more energized and better as well. So it's about quality of life as well as longevity.
That sounds amazing, and it sounds like it's more health driven rather than weight loss, but you'll lose weight anyway.
Yes, I'd say the weight loss is a side effect. So we focus on health, and weight loss is a side effect because there's no calorie restriction. You're not counting calories.
Yeah, yeah, well,
You're
yeah.
basically,
I
yeah,
mean, calorie restriction it just doesn't apply. I mean, like 1,000 calories of broccoli is very different to 1,000 calories of junk food or
absolutely,
1,000 calories of meat. I mean, there's just no comparison.
100%.
So tell me, what form? Give us an example of what will be on this diet, and how you want people to eat. I mean, you say Mediterranean low carb, so just give us an
Yeah,
example of the kind of
well,
things you do want to eat and the kind of things you don't want people to eat.
yeah, I think the key thing is that we ask people, and this is again the initial stages of the diet plan, and things can be alter with time. Where, for example, for me, I follow my own advice, but I kind of do the 80-20 rule, which is I'll follow the diet 80% of the time, but then I will still have some, I don't eat processed foods at all, but I'll still have some starch in the form of where, a
Yeah.
chicken biryani on the weekend or a sourdough pizza or whatever. But my metabolic health is perfect, and I even got the I don't know how reliable this is, but it's a nice surrogate marker. I had this sort of body composition scan done in Virgin Active Gym, and I'm 47 years old, Glynis, and my body composition in relation to my metabolic health, specifically, my metabolic age is 33.
Very good.
So I do follow my own advice. I think that's important as well, because also
Yes.
even going through
Yes.
this process, I had to experiment on myself and see what does this do when I
Yeah.
looked at the research. But essentially, you eliminate all starch and sugar. So no bread, no pasta, no rice, no potatoes. Any foods that really are going to raise your blood glucose, which is essentially starch that lacks fiber, and of course no sugar, no added sugar at all. So that's where you deal with the insulin resistance specifically to get rid of that. And then of course the diet should be nutritionally replete, as well as having the best or anti-inflammatory components of the traditional Mediterranean diet. So that means extra virgin olive oil, it means nuts and seeds, it means non-starchy vegetables and low sugar fruits, it means oily fish a couple of times a week. And once you've got that as your base, the rest of it doesn't matter. You can have a steak a couple of times a week if you want. You can eat all sorts of other foods, which are real foods. And that's it. It's not rocket science. But a lot of people, the normal diet for people has become an ultra-processed junk food diet for most people now. So in many ways, it's getting them back to the basics, back to square one.
So is there anything that makes it different from the Mediterranean diet or other low carb diets?
Yeah, so the Mediterranean diet per se, traditional Mediterranean diet, which was something that became almost deified, if you like, as a healthy diet in the 50s and 60s, did have bread and pasta, but they had no ultra processed foods. And the type of bread that we have these days is ultra processed. So, and we're also dealing with people who are trying to reverse a condition that has crept up on them over years because of all the other junk. So it doesn't have starch in it. So some people say, hold on, Mediterranean diet, is it the base of that diet not lots of bread and pasta? Not quite, but there was that traditional Mediterranean did have those sorts of foods in them. We've eliminated the starch. And the other thing is, there's another aspect of this as well, Glynis, which is where my research comes in. When you look at the Mediterranean diet, see what are the components that are going to be good for your health, it wasn't the bread and the pasta. It was the extra virgin olive oil. It was nuts and seeds. It was the whole fruit and veg. It was oily fish. That's where the benefits are. So it's a modified Mediterranean diet, but without the starch. And then you asked about low carb. Well, low carb can still mean that your diet is predominantly eggs and meat and nothing else. It could be carnivore. Now, I'm not saying there's a big issue with that. Some people benefit from that greatly. But from my perspective, looking at the data, those foods may not be damaging to your health, but they don't have necessarily a positive effect, right? They give you good nutrition, but they're not anti-inflammatory. So that's why it's neither a low carb diet, neither is it a purely low carb diet, nor is it a Mediterranean diet. It's a mix of the two.
What about wine? Red wine is in the
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, you don't have to drink wine. Some people like alcohol, and if people want to drink, they can do. And we say just stick to the recommended sort of limits of 14 units a week for a female, and 21 units for a man. So that's not an issue.
And what about dairy? What about things like Greek yogurt?
Fine, no problem.
Milk.
Dairy is, you can have dairy is not an issue. Unlimited dairy. If you want to have cheese and all, that's not a problem. Doesn't cause heart disease. Is enjoyable. Makes you feel full. Healthy fats. Not a problem.
Yeah. And how will people access it? So it's an online program. So
they can go to a website and sign up for the newsletter, and then when we start the plan, and we'll tell you now. I mean, we want to make it very affordable for people. So it's a monthly rolling program. There's a community, an online community. People will be exchanging ideas and supporting each other through it, because a lot of people are going through this for the first time. It's a big change from their diet plan. So they've got lots of questions. And so they go to metabolicreset.co. That's the website. And it's going to be a £55 joining fee.
Is that .co or .com?
Just .co. They can sign up there, £55 joining fee, then £25 a month rolling membership.
Right.
And then we'll have ongoing educational content. I talk about heart disease, about high blood pressure. actually educate people on some of these conditions as well and why they're important, and how their lifestyle plan will help them.
So they'll get like a digital booklet plus
Yes,
webinars and
digital. There's even like recipes and a diet plan there, but also there's educational content as well, which we are providing, myself and Kim,
right.
on things even like supplements. I mean, we're going to cover pretty much everything. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic.
Statins, cholesterol, all of that. Because
Fantastic.
people want to be empowered, a complete sort of
Yeah.
health plan, if you like. We even cover issues like stress reduction, the importance of stress, and as a driver of disease. So there's, for me,
All this
this is really,
content will be there.
oh,
You'll
absolutely,
be like monthly, you'll be giving talks on things.
absolutely.
And how will people ask you questions if they have like a personal question?
Yeah, we're going to do monthly lives. So we're going to have like, people can ask questions within the group anyway, and there'll be regular interaction from one of us, either Kim or myself. Probably a lot more from Kim on those daily interactions. I will definitely be in there as well, at least on a weekly basis. But then we will do once a month, we will do an actual live Q&A, for an hour and a half, for example, where people can actually interact with us and ask us questions too. So they're getting a lot for this. They're getting a lot.
Yes, that does sound amazing because it's not just about a diet.
No, it's a
It's
comprehensive
about everything
interactive.
else, and and the access to you and to Kim to ask personal questions. So
Yeah,
that's great. And you were talking about people empowering themselves, and honestly, I think it's become so important since the pandemic and the way the world is now, where nothing seems to be functioning. The medical institutions, the NHS, nothing seems to be functioning quite as it should, and
no.
more people seem to be ill. I mean, it's actually quite staggering what's happened in the last few years, how ill people are, and people of all ages. So to me, in taking ownership of your health, empowering yourself, knowing, having the information, and to do everything you
And
can to keep
yeah,
yourself healthy, to me, there seems to be nothing that's more important.
Glenn, it's absolutely, the other thing as well is we come from a position of we are giving you unbiased information. In a
Right.
way, the problem is most of what's driving a healthcare crisis, we talked about this before,
Yeah.
is commercial corruption of medical knowledge
Yes.
and of the NHS. And there's so many problems, over medicated society, big food, big pharma, the real drivers behind this. That's why things are going the wrong way. So we're offering people a greater truth, which is not going to be, which is free from commercial influence, which is actually based upon the best evidence. And people
Right.
will find out for themselves.
Fantastic, fantastic. So people just need to go to the website. That website is up and running
It
now.
is, yeah. They can sign up for the newsletter, and then when we launch it, of course, closer to the time, then people can, they can then subscribe properly and get stuck in. And we're really excited because I think we had 400 people sign up for the pilot. We have 2,500 people already on the newsletter,
Right.
and the feedback has been phenomenal. Because we were doing this for the first time in this format, we weren't sure how it was going to work. Of course,
Yeah.
with my patients, we have amazing, but
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a group scale, it's
Yeah.
a bit different. The feedback's been amazing. The people's results, that people are shocked. We're even a bit surprised. I mean, some people losing, 6 or 7 kilograms, no counting calories
Yeah.
in a month
So in the pilot, you've had people trying it out,
already. Yes.
trying out the system,
So
right?
that's why we've got the feedback where one of the you might know Ashirani. He's been public. He's one of the participants, and he sent his type 2 diabetes into remission in 4 weeks, and his GP was shocked. How's he
Oh,
done this? Just
in
from on
four
this plan.
weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. So this is what it does. It's the power of it. Yeah. So we want to obviously just expand this as much as possible, and eventually, hopefully, it might influence the NHS as well,
That
because
would be
this is
fantastic because it would really benefit the NHS because it seems like they spend so much money just spinning their own wheels and not actually helping people to help themselves. So
yeah. And take this. I mean, this international as well. So we have people from all around the world who joined up. So anyone can be, from America, Australia, wherever. And of course, I'm gonna, there's a good chance I might be having some kind of role advising the new Trump administration because they want me to, want to listen to what I have to say. But of course, chronic disease reversal, making America healthy again, that's kind of my area of expertise and how we can do this quickly for educational purposes, but also the kind of policies that need to be introduced so that it can happen on a population level. So
well, that
all
would
very
be
exciting.
absolutely incredible if you could influence anywhere, but America, where so many countries follow from, to actually up their game in health and taking ownership of your health. That would be incredible. So
Absolutely.
let's hope that happens. And not that we want to lose you.
No, I'm gonna listen. I'm not gonna be, moving. I'm sure I'll still be keeping connections in with the UK, and I won't name this person yet. But there's a very, very senior politician that wants there to be some sort of bridge, if I get that role in America, with how we get this information out on a political level and influence government over here as well simultaneously. So I'll be hopefully having some kind of dual role.
That would be amazing. Could not be better. Well, Aseem, thank you so much. And I'm going to check this out myself. It sounds absolutely fantastic.
Lovely. Thank you,
And
Glynis. I appreciate it.
hope to talk to you soon, especially if you go into your new role. We want to know what's happening.
Yeah, I'll update you as soon as I know. All right.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.